Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Indra Educational Academy. Today our section is part 3 of unit 1 of the topic Java. Before going to start this part 3 of Java concept, once discuss the previous parts topics. That is nothing but in part 1 we discussed about the topics of OOPS, that is introduction to OOPS, features of OOPS, applications of OOPS and features of Java. All these four topics are completed in the part 1 of Java unit 1, and whereas coming to part 2 of Java unit is introduction of Java, uses of Java, structure of Java, Java tokens, Java virtual machine and Java command line format and types of interface. All these 6 topics are completed in the part 2 of Java first unit. Now we are going to discussing the operators, Java constants, symbolic constants, variables or data types, and very important topic, type convention and typecasting. All these topics are going to cover in this part 3 of Java unit 1. So let's begin our class part 3 of Java unit 1 with the concept of operators. Operators is nothing but a function that manipulates the variables. Here, once check this definition, Java provides a rich set of operators to manipulate variables. We can divide all the Java operators into following groups. Here, operators manipulates the variables. That means it acts as a connection in between the variables. That means take example a b as variables. So a plus b, here plus is the operator, it combines those a and b variables, so it's act as a link in between those two variables. So here Java provides a rich set of operators to manipulate variables. So Java operators are divided into many types. So here some types are given. One is arithmetic operators, second one relational operators, third one bitwise, fourth one logical operators, fifth one assignment operators, and last one mix operators. So once coming to the Mishler operators, there are few other operators supported by language. In a Mishelius operators, it consists conditional operator. Conditional operator consists question mark and at the same time um, conditional operator consists question mark and assign mark. Here conditional operator definition is nothing but it is also known as ternary operator. The goal of the operator is to decide which value should be assigned to the variable. That means this operator helps to assign the value for the variable. So syntax for this conditional operator is variable x equal to expression question mark value if to assign value if false. So this is the conditional operator. Here example for the conditional operator, it's very important. This example is and output of that example. Next, intensity of operator. Here coming to the definition of intensity of operator, this operator is used only for object reference variables. The operator checks whether the object is of a particular type or another type. Here intensity of operator is nothing but it refers the variable type, either it is class type or interface type or it is data type. Whatever it is checked by the intensity of operator. Here syntax of intentions of operator is given and example for that operator and output of that example. Next, Java operator precedence. uh, Operator precedence determines the order in which the operators is in an expression or elevated. In Java, user may uses more programs at a time. At that time, this Java precedence makes the data in a sequence. That means it prepares that programs in an order. If person give 5 programs to the Java software at a time, but this Java operator precedence makes that first program which is given by user as the first output of that program. So like that it makes an order to that user data. Next, Java constants. Coming to the definition of Java constant, as the name suggests, a constant is an entity in programming that is immutable. In other words, the value that can't be changed. In Java, by using the non-access modifier static and final, the purpose to use this static modifier is to manage the memory. The final modifier represents the value of the variable can't be changed. Here, what's this definition means? Here Java constant is a constant term. It can't be changed by anything. Here it can't access the any modifiers. That means static means steady. It can't change. So in Java this constant term doesn't make any changes to the variables, and the first applied thing is the final, and it is in static. The purpose of this static modifier is to manage the memory. So by using this Java constant, we can manage the storage or memory of the Java, and the final modifier represents the value of the variable that can't. A final modifier represents the value of the variable can't change. Here, due to this Java constant, we can't change the variable value. Why? Because we are using constant term. That's why the value of variable is not changed. So this is the Java constant and syntax for that Java constant, and with the help of syntax, example is also given, and example 1 for the Java constant. All these are programs only. If you want to learn Java more clearly and clarity, we must try these programs in system and observe the execution and running of that program. Using enumeration as constant, it is the same as the final variables. Here final variables is nothing but the static and or unchanged value. It is a list of constant. Java provides a mune keyword to define the enumeration. Here mune is a keyword like a super keyword in Java, like mune is also a keyword, but here this mune keyword is used in terms of constant. So example for enumeration and output for that enumeration. Next topic is symbolic constants. That means up to here we completed Java constants, whereas here coming to symbolic constants, that means symbols or constant. So constants may appear repeatedly in number of places in the program. Constant values are assigned to some names at the beginning of the program. Syntax: final time, symbolic name equal to final float pi. Here pi is nothing but the mathematical expression, that is the value of 22/7. The value of pi is 22/7 in the fractions, whereas coming to the decimals, the value of that pi is 3.14. So here here pi is the symbolic expression, but the value of that symbolic expression is constant. So the entire pi with respect to that value is considered as a symbolic constant, since pi is a symbol and it is having a constant value, so it comes under the symbolic constants. That is the example of that symbolic constants, and rules for that symbolic constants is symbolic names take the some form as variable names, but they're one written in capital letters to distance from variable names. This is only convention, not a rule. Here these rules or comes under the programming sections. When we are doing a program or writing a program for this by using symbolic constants, we must follow these rules, these two rules. Second rule is, after declaration of symbolic constants, they should not be assigned any other value with the program by using an assignment operator. If this means if you use symbolic constant, we don't have to use assignment operator. If you use both assignment operator and symbolic constant, then it's show as a error. if you use symbolic constants, then you should not use the assignment statement. So example of that is strength equal to 200 is illegal. Next, coming to another important topic, variables. What is a variable in Java? So Java variable is nothing but a memory allocation. That means it allocates some memory to the data. The Java variable have mainly three types: local, intensive, and static. Local example of that valid declarations or int abc, float pi, double d, char a. Here int abc is, then the abc values may be in integers. Float pi equal to, pi is a symbolic constant. Since pi is a symbolic constant, the value of that pi is 3.14 or 22/7, where double and char are the data types. Now variable initialization. Here initialization is nothing but intersecting. So to initialization a variable, you must assign it a valid value before going to add. That means here initialization means intersect, at the same time it means as add. So before going to add a variable to anything, you must assign it as a valid value. So before going to add a variable to the some program or data, it should have some value. So these are the examples that variable initialization. You can combine variable declaration and initialization. Declaration is also comes under the adding only. That means we are declare also means like add only. And this is the example for the declarations. And types of variables. Coming to types of variables, three types: local, intent, static. Local variables are a variable that are declared inside the body of a method. So that means inside in structure of Java, it consists of body of the method. So in that portion, local variables is declared. If we declare these variables out of the body of the method, it shows error. So within the body of that structure or within the body of that method Java program, you must declare the local variables. And intensity of variables. Intensity or variables are defined without the static keyword or defined without static keyword. They are defined outside a method declaration. So here instance variables are declared outside of the method declaration, and without static keyword it is working. There are object specific and known as instance variables. Whereas coming to static variables are initialized only once at the start of the program execution. These variables should be initialized first before the initialization of any intensive variables. Yes, static means nothing but study or only once. So at the starting of the program execution only we can add these variables in terms of static variables. So at only one time only we can add variables that comes under the static variables. So this is the example for that variables. And modify package subclass world. This is the graphical representation. And next, coming to the data types in Java. Data type is nothing but a specification of that allocation and type of value that can be stored in variable. Java has a rich set of data types. Data types in Java can be divided into two parts: primitive data types, which includes integer is nothing but positive and negative numbers with along the zero. Character is nothing but text. That means alphabets only. Boolean is nothing but true or false conditions or yes or no conditions. Float is nothing but decimal. That means decimal consists whole part and decimal part. Non-primitive data types is which includes the classes, arrays, and interfaces. Classes is a collection of objects. Array is a storage allocation of the object. Interface is a process that interacts with the method and class. So next important question, 5 marks questions for the BSc 4th sem students is type convention and type casting. Very important question for the BSc 4th sem students of Andhra University. So type convention Coming to the definition of type convention, a variable of one type can receive the value of another type. Here, if one variable is there, a is the variable, if it receives another type of value, for example, a is the variable, it receives another type of value, that means it may be float or boolean or whatever it is, integer or so in case one variable of a smaller capacity is to be assigned to another variable of bigger capacity, if user take a smaller variable and it and assigns a bigger value, it comes into the case one, that is convention. If the user take variable of bigger capacity and assigns a smaller value for that variable, it comes under the typecasting. So here, very easy of a topic, type convention and typecasting, very simple difference. If the user take smaller capacity variable and assigns a higher value for that smaller capacity variable, it comes under the type conventions. That process is known as convention, which process assigning bigger value to the smaller capacity variable. Whereas coming to the casting, taking a larger capacity variable and assign smaller value, it comes under the casting. So that process is known as casting, and in such process, this process is known as typecasting. So these are the topics of part 3 of Java Unit 1. Before going to end this topic, once revise these topics. So first, in part 3 firstly we completed the topic of operators. Operators is nothing but and it acts as a internet in between the variables and arithmetic operators, relational operators, all bitwise operators, all these operators comes under the operators. So after that, operators, so examples are also given for these operators, so everyone must prepare those programs. And after that, Java constant is nothing but a fixed value. Simply, if you want to remember what is constant, Java constant is nothing but a fixed value of the variable. It can't be changed and it can't access any modifiers. These 3 points is enough to write the definition of the Java constant. All these paragraph is not needed. If you willing to study, you can, but if you can't, these 3 points are very important. What are those? Java constant is nothing but a fixed value of the variable, and Java constant can't be changed and it can't access modifiers and interfaces. And syntax is very important, and example also important, and output for that example, and in enumeration is as constant. Here enum is a keyword, that means Java keyword. um, Keywords comes under the Java tokens. In part 2 we discussed about the topic of Java tokens. In Java tokens, keywords are there. In those keywords, this immune is there. Here that immune keyword is represent as constant. So this is the example for that. This is not as important as in semester exam, but according to syllabus we are going to learn about that topic. This is the output output for that immune example. Next, symbolic constant. Here once again I'm saying constant is nothing but a fixed values. Here symbolic is there na, so the fixed value of that symbolic expression, pi is a symbol, and that fixed value of that is 3.14 or 22/7. And rules to use symbolic constants in terms of programming and coding. These two rules are used in the programming only. Next, coming to variable is nothing but a memory allocation or storage allocation of data type. For example, int is one of the data type which consists both positive and negative numbers with allowing 0. So The data type is indicated by variable either x, y, or whatever, a, b, c, whatever. All this is indicated by that variable. Variable is a or b, anything. So it indicates the memory allocation. And three types example for that variable. And types of variable is local and intense and static. Before going to discuss those types, variable initialization is important. Initialization is nothing but adding, variable adding. So variable adding, after types of variable, three types are there within the method: local variables, out of the method, intense variables, static variables. Is initialization before the program execution. So example for those types of data and variables, sorry, example for the, this is the example for the variables. And coming to data type, data type is two types: primitive, non-primitive, which is integer, character, boolean, classes, and etc. And most important question in fourth sem of Andhra University is type convention and typecasting. Type convention is nothing but assigning bigger value to the smaller variable is known as convention. And this entire process is known as type convention. Whereas typecasting, assigning smaller value to the bigger variable, is known as typecasting. So this is the typecasting and type convention. So in this part 3 we completed operators, Java constants, symbolic constants, variables, types of variables, data types, type convention, and typecasting. So up to here we completed unit 1 in 3 sections: part 1, part 2. I hope you all have understand all these 3 parts of unit 1 of Java. Thank you for watching. For more videos, subscribe to my channel. For more knowledgeable and interesting videos, please subscribe to my channel. Jai Hind.